All right, last week was a very critical week in the life of every Biafran. From the issue of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to the issue of the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa Njoko, which actually was a matter that everybody was actually looking out for. Now, Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko was in court in Finland, and a lot of reactions have come up. Now, the video showing is a video of Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko in court. Now, so many reactions, so many misreactions has actually come up in the issue of Mazi Simon Ekpa. But the reality is that despite the fact that critics will always talk, but the issue is that what is the whole case all about? Why is Finland fighting Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko, with the zoo government, who have been doing everything possible to make sure that they silence the voice of Biafran heroes, in their illegal ways of, doing their judgment. They were able, to extradite the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And now, Simon Ekpa is their major issue. Now, what really happened in court? Now, let us go straight up to the issue of what really transpired. Now, this is a kind of recap for those who are still lost in this whole shenanigan happening, within the Biafran structure. Now, talking about the terrorism trial, we started last week. The prosecution is demanding a 6-year prison sentence for Simon Ekpa on terrorism-related charges. Why? Remember, I made it clear that the case of Simon Ekpa has nothing to do with terrorism directly. But the thing there is that they are finding every way to link Mazi Simon Ekpa to terrorism. This is where they can actually have a longer stay for Simon Ekpa. This is where they can have a more critical punishment for Simon Ekpa. That has actually been their plan. And that is why they have come out in mass, both the so-called people who claim, in quote, who claim that they are fighting for the freedom of Biafra are still the ones who are writing petition and still fighting Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko. But to what end? That is the big question. Now, the prosecution is demanding a 6-year prison sentence for Simon Ekpa. That shows that the case is not even as strong as we all thought it was. Because if truly terrorism was the major thing, now definitely it will be a life sentence. Definitely Simon Ekpa will be going for, he will be in prison for life. And that is a reality. Now, Simon Ekpa, a former local councillor from Lati, appeared before the Payet Hamid District Court on Friday to face the terrorism-related charges in a preparatory hearing. It was actually a very powerful one at that. Now, Èkpá is accused of participating in a terrorist organization and publicly inciting crimes for terrorist purposes. How true is this? Let us still continue with the case and how it actually, unfolded. Now, the prosecutors allege that he has been actively involved in a separatist movement seeking independence for the so-called Biafran region in southern Nigeria. This is how they, called it. This is how the statement was. Now, the big question is, what is bad? What is evil for a separatist movement seeking for the independence of their people, the freedom of their people, especially people who are being subjugated to a lot of suffering, people who are going through a lot of ordeal by the terrorism zoo army. We've seen a lot of massacres. We've seen a lot of ill treatment. We've seen a lot of marginalization, in quote, of these people. So what is bad, if someone decide to come out to defend and say, no, we are tired of this art by these people. We want to create our own state and we want to do it in the right way. Now, still speaking on how the whole court case went. Now, the prosecution also argued that the activity conducted online and coordinated from Finland may constitute terrorism under Finnish law. Now, I wanted to check Google to find out Finnish law on terrorism. I wanted to understand how their law works in Finland, but I think it's going to take a longer time, for me to find out and bring it out. Maybe in the next video I'll be dropping, I'll give a full law, the full hearing of the law of the Finland, how their law go under the Terrorism Act. But that aside, the prosecutors are also demanding a 6 years prison sentence for Èkpá. Now, in their statement, which I'll be reading out now, they said, "We have a great deal of evidence regarding these individuals' online activity and communication," said State Prosecutor Samsa Hakala. The prosecution, however, acknowledged that obtaining detailed information about the alleged terrorism-related acts is difficult, as they are believed to have taken place in Africa. Now, why are you actually concerned about this? Now, during the pre-trial hearing on Friday, Èkpá's lawyer, Caligumeres, also raised concerns about the reliability of information coming from the Nigeria government. The Finnish police have investigated the case together with Nigerian authorities. During police interview, Simon Èkpá denied the charge, which also included suspicions of ordering weapons from pro-Biafran group. The district court is also examining allegation of aggravated tax fraud. In fact, this is their issue. You see, this aggravated tax fraud, this is what Finland is actually interested in. And I'm going to tell you, forget about these whole controversies and this whole lie you're seeing on the internet that Finland is trying to bring Simon Èkpá down because of terrorism-related charges. It is a lie. Their major interest is in the aggravated tax fraud. Go and mark that word, that particular phrase. Aggravated tax fraud. This is their interest because they want to get Simon Èkpá to pay for tax in court. This is their issue. They've seen the activities and the inflow of currencies. When they organize this, their online fundraising, they generate a lot of funds. Biafrans all over the world, try as much as possible to support the struggle. And they've seen the kind of inflows of money coming in. And Finland feel that they can actually get a chunk of this money. And this is why they've actually brought in the issue of aggravated tax fraud. This is their main interest. You might think otherwise. You can go to the comment section and tell me your own thought on this. But their major interest is the aggravated tax fraud. Now, it is shameful that Finland is actually participating in this kind of act for a country that fought for the freedom of their people, and they got it. Is now a country that is making sure that they frustrate Biafran from getting this freedom. But one thing we'll keep on saying is that we'll keep on standing with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We keep standing with Simon Èkpá Njoko to the end. Despite everything said and done by the Zoo government, they are not going to get away with it. On that note, thank you once again for joining us on this wonderful YouTube platform. Let us go into, the deeper issue that is happening in Finland, because the Finnish president, the Finland president, is actually in deep trouble as a result of an act he committed concerning the issue of Mazi Simon Èkpá Njoko.